What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome to today's episode of Spawn Guides. In this series, I cover all of the important spawns and how they behave on every single map in Call of Duty Ghosts. This series is centered around Domination, but there will be a little bit of overlap with other respawn game modes as well. In this episode, as requested by you guys in the comments of the previous episode, we're going to be covering the map Overlord. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's start it off by mapping out the most common spawn points for each flag on the map Overlord. As you can see, for the A flag, we have quite a few potential spawn points, and they're spread out basically all around the edge of the map near the A flag. The most common spawns here are the ones that are directly surrounding the flag. The other spawns typically only happen when you have teammates over in that direction anchoring the spawn to them, or enemies pushing the spawn towards that direction. Now, one thing with these spawns that's important to note is the two on the right, they look like they're really close together, but they actually aren't. One of them is on top of the hill, and the other one is down below in the bunker underneath the hill. So just make sure you're aware of that. Alright, so for the B flag on this map, it's actually quite surprising there are no spawns that are specifically attached to the B flag. This means if you have a team that's holding only the B flag, their spawn will be basically wherever the game decides at that given point in time. So 1 second they could be spawning at a C spawn, and the next second they could be spawning at a random A spawn. So it's really hard to predict, and you definitely don't want to try and spawn trap a team in the B flag because they'll likely just spawn right behind you. Alright, so you might be a little bit confused right now because there is a teal colored spawn right here, so it doesn't really align with A or C. So the reason it's teal is it's actually a shared spawn, and it's one of the most important spawns on this map. You can literally spawn at this spawn with any combination of flags held by your team. So you could hold only the A flag and you could spawn here, or you could hold only the C flag and you can spawn here, or any combination. You could hold A and C and you'll spawn there, or just B and you'll spawn there. I think you guys get the picture. You can spawn there at any given time in the game if the game decides that's the best place for you to spawn. Now, the reason this spawn is so important is because it's vital for breaking any sort of a spawn trap that the enemy team can have on you. So if you're spawn trapped at A, you can push up along that side of the map and try and anchor your team's spawn to that position. And once they start spawning there, you can very easily get onto their flank and break their setup. Same thing with the C flag. If they've got you spawn trapped at C, you can move along that ridge, try and anchor your team's spawn to there. Once they start spawning there, they can either go straight to the A flag and try and capture that, or they can flank the guys at the B flag and kill the enemies from behind and they won't know what hit them. Either way, it's really important to know about this spawn. Alright, so finally, let's move on to the C spawns. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward spawn layout back here. They're all basically along the back edge of the map, and they're spread out left to right quite evenly. The one spawn that a lot of people fail to check for on this map is the one that's furthest to the left right now. As you can see, you spawn behind that building, sort of up on top of the hill, and almost everybody that spawns here will go straight through the building in front of them, and they'll end up on sort of that little ridge thing that overlooks a lot of the C flag area. If you know your enemy is spawning at the C flag, a lot of the times people fail to check up on that ridge, and that'll get them killed. So just be aware that oftentimes people will spawn there, and they'll run straight out to that ridge, so always expect somebody to be on there if they hold the C flag. Alright, so that's all the common spawn locations on this map. Now let's go over a quick gameplay example. And you'll notice in this gameplay I'm using a chainsaw, and actually everybody else on my team is using a chainsaw. We were just having some fun as a full party. But right in this situation here, I just pushed through their entire C spawn and completely cleared it out. You'll also notice on the minimap I have a teammate that's pushed over, kind of blocking off all of those other C spawns there as well. So I know that there are no enemies towards the C flag right now, and they're not likely to spawn there because nobody's anchoring the spawns to the C flag spawns. Another thing that's really important to note is my team is about to capture the A flag. So once that flag is captured, they won't be able to spawn at an A spawn, and they won't be able to spawn at a C spawn. So where does that leave them to spawn? I hope you guys would have guessed the shared spawn. This is exactly where they spawn, and it was very easy to read, and I was able to pick up a nice easy double kill from that. So I hope that illustrated for you guys the potential power of that shared spawn. It's very important to know how it works and basically know that at any point in time the enemy team could be spawning there, or even your team could be spawning there. So it's just a very important spawn to learn. Alright, so now let's move on and we're going to test your knowledge of the spawns and the spawn behavior on this map. So for the first test, as you can see, the green team holds A and B, and they're pushed up quite a bit on the map towards the B flag, and sort of on the right side of the map even towards the C flag. Where would a red guy spawn right now? I'll give you guys a few seconds to make a decision. Alright, did you guys choose this spawn right here? How about this one right here? Either of these ones could be correct, and let's go over why. So first off, we can completely rule out the top right corner spawns right now because there are no red players pushed over towards that area, so there's no anchor over there. This leaves us with 4 potential C spawns for them to spawn at. But did you guys see this green player right here next to the tank? He is essentially blocking off those 2 back C spawns that are right next to the C flag. This means we have 2 potential C spawns to spawn at. And at this point, it could really go either way. The red team is pretty evenly distributed between those 2 spawns, so the game is just going to pick whichever one. Alright, so that was the first test. For the second one, we're actually not going to change things up too much. You'll notice I'm just going to move a few of the players around, so one of the green players moved a bit, and the red players have moved a little bit more towards the B flag right now, but everything else is pretty much the same. Where would a red player spawn right now? Once again, I'll give you guys a few seconds to make a decision. I hope you guys picked this shared spawn right here. This is the perfect illustration for how you can use that spawn to break out of a spawn trap. So let's quickly go over why the game would choose that spawn rather than a C spawn. As you can see right here, all of the red players are pushing towards the B flag, and none of them are back here by the C spawns. So they're not really anchoring any spawns toward the C flag, and on top of that, these 2 guys right here are anchoring the spawn as far up the map as possible. So the game looks and it has that shared spawn right there, so it says we can spawn them here, there's nothing against that. It's not like they need to hold the A flag or the B flag to spawn there, they can hold any flag to spawn there. So the game is going to want to spawn them at that shared spawn, and they're going to use that as a pivot point to break the green team's setup. Every red player that spawns there now has the option to either flank and attack at B, or go all the way around and capture A, which will essentially force the green team to completely change their setup, because right now the green team is probably expecting the red team to be spawning at C still, so it's really going to take them by surprise when they start getting shot in the back. If there's one thing you take away from this video, it should be the importance of that shared spawn. So that's all I have for this episode of Spawn Guides. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and don't forget to leave me a comment letting me know which map you'd like to see me cover next. Just like in the last episode, if you see that someone has already commented on the map that you want to see, then please just thumbs up their comment rather than commenting for the same map over and over again. It just makes it much easier for me and it keeps the comments sort of clean. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.